I make her say,
Oh, 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 oh.
when I
Poker face, poker face.
I make her say,
Oh, 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 oh.
what up?
Poker face,
Me first.
poker face.
She wanna have whatever she like. She can if she bring her friend.
Hello, Plymouth State, and welcome back to another broadcast of The Clock Out Loud. I'm Maker Sean Michael Dunphy,
And I'm Anchor Ben DeZoglio.
and here's what's happening in your world. On Monday, March 14th, PSU Pride brought Aaron Davies and the Fag Bug to PSU.
So almost 4 years ago, April 18th, 2007, someone vandalized my car and spray painted fag on my driver's side window and "You are gay" on the hood of my car, Albany, New York. And basically, rather than remove the graffiti, I decided to leave it on the car, and I drove my car like that for a whole year.
Many students met and talked with Davies before she showed her documentary, and some were even asked if they could be interviewed for her follow-up documentary.
I realized, like, a lot of people that I was, like, afraid of were, like, the most supportive. So it was, like, random strangers all around the country, like, embraced me and helped me. And that was, like, the most, like, uplifting part of it is that people paid for my hotels, my gas. Like, everywhere I went, it was, like, angels looking out for me. And just kind of, something that was meant to make me question people and the goodness of people. It sort of instilled more faith that there's, like, there's for every one person like that, there's 500 people out there. And I've met 500 people to every one that's, done something negative. So it's put in perspective, like, there are a lot of good people in the world. And
The event was an all-around success.
PSU Pride sure put a lot of work into the event, Sean.
They sure did, Ben, and it really showed off.
In other news, on Monday evening, Pace brought dating comedians David Adhoot and Ethan Fixel to PSU. The two hit the comedy scene in 2008 when they started posting hilarious double date advertisements on the web. The event had a great audience that really enjoyed the duo.
The duo sure made for a hysterical evening, Ben.
They sure did, Sean.
We've now brought in a special guest, Rachel Ferranti, who's the features editor here at The Clock, to give us a few tips on cooking. Rachel, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
So Rachel, tell us a little bit about your history in the culinary arts.
Well, I've been working at a restaurant in Molten Grove called The Woodshed for 6 years. I started out prepping in the summertime, so I got a good cooking background and became really familiar with a lot of ingredients that are in a fully stocked kitchen. And now I work there mostly at night. I'm one of the line cooks, and I grill, and I occasionally expedite food and work the oven station. So that's all, that ranges from fish to chicken to pasta to risotto to all meats.
Excellent, and I understand you have a few recipes for us this evening to share with the fellow college students out there watching.
I do.
Some easy recipes, I'm assuming, to make within a dorm or an apartment kitchen.
Easy and fresh. They do require a stovetop and an oven, but I'm pretty sure most dorms are equipped with those. Alright. The first one is Prince Edward Island mussels. They're really inexpensive. You can get about a pound of mussels for $1.25 at the grocery store. So you can cook those with tomatoes, fresh garlic, basil, and white wine, even if you're of age. It's a really simple recipe. You dice up tomatoes, you chop up the garlic and the basil, and you saute that with some white wine. And then once that gets kind of warm, throw the mussels in, you cover it, and it'll steam for about a minute until all the mussels open up, and you want to make sure that you're only using mussels that are already closed tightly and not cracked. And you serve that with the broth, and it's pretty easy. You can use a baguette to dip into the broth. And
Sounds delicious.
That's about it. Very simple, very quick. Next recipe for a dinner, which is really nice to be shared with a couple people, is lamb racks. And lamb rack is best cooked to medium rare. And lamb rack served with peppered minted strawberries and the balsamic reduction. So to make that, the lamb rack you can buy in the grocery store, just roast it off in the oven to about 110 degrees. It's good medium rare. The peppered minted strawberries, what you're going to want to do is dice up strawberries, chop up some mint and some peppercorns, and throw them in there, and that can marinate in balsamic vinegar for about an hour. And then for a balsamic reduction, you just take balsamic vinegar and a little bit of sugar and boil it down let it cool, and it'll get pretty thick. You can drizzle that over the top and serve it with the strawberries, and makes for a really nice meal. Lamb holds fruit flavors really well, really nice, like fresh and robust fruit flavors. Not a lot of meat can actually take those, so.
And I understand that you also have some desserts for us tonight.
I do. I have a really nice pomme de menthe sundae. It's only a couple ingredients. A pomegranate, which actually has a lot full of seeds, and you can have the juice squeezed out of it. So you cut the pomegranate in half, scoop out all the seeds. You can squeeze half of them, and you're gonna get this really nice like red syrup. You're gonna put the rest of the seeds aside, and you're gonna want to strain that juice because you're gonna get like just some of the chunks from the seeds in there. So you're gonna want it nice and clear. Some mint, chop it up, and you can let it marry with the pomegranate juice for a little bit and let it chill. After a couple hours, it's gonna thicken up a little bit just from cooling down. So you're gonna take a scoop of vanilla ice cream, a little bit of the syrup, some whipped cream, and sprinkle it with pomegranate seeds. So you get a really nice like tart, like subtle tartness and creaminess with the vanilla, and then the pop of the seeds on top. A little bit of whipped cream garnished with the mint leaf. Really pretty, really nice to serve it. So it's really light. A lot of good flavors.
Sounds
Very
great.
easy.
Could you also substitute the palm juice that you can get as well for the pomegranate, or
If you wanted to, but
easy way out?
that is the easy way out. And you don't have the seeds. With
That's
that,
true.
you're going to want the seeds, which you're definitely going to want them. It's a really nice garnish, so you should definitely just go for the fresh pomegranate. Probably cheaper than buying a whole thing of pomegranate juice anyway.
All right, sounds great. Well, thank you very much, Rachel, for stopping by. It's always a pleasure to have you. And now we're going to move on to sports. Plymouth State University women's alpine ski team captured its first national team championship on Wednesday. They received a title in the giant slalom portion of the United States Collegiate Ski and Snowboard Association National Championships, which were held at Sun Valley, Idaho. Sophomore Martina Ryberg led the Panthers with the overall women's giant slalom championship, placing first out of 103 ski racers. Ryberg's individual championship is a first for PSU women since Anda Karuta in 2001. The Panthers finished with a combined team score that was more than 3.5 seconds ahead of runner-up Rocky Mountain College. Other notable skiers included Marley Pollock, Lee Ann Connors, and junior Catherine Galler.
It's quite a feat for the women's alpine ski team.
It sure was, Ben.
Following the devastating earthquake on Friday, which registered at 9.0, the Japanese government has been faced with yet another grave situation. At a nuclear power plant in northeastern Japan, hydrogen is leaking from reactor number 2 and is mixing with the oxygen, which has caused several explosions and has further weakened the apparatus, which is in place to prevent radiation from leaking out of the facility. Nuclear radiation has reportedly leaked out of the facility, and many Japanese citizens and several American helicopter crews have tested positive for low levels of exposure to radiation. The world is intently watching Japan as it struggles to recover from these tragic events and attempts to avoid nuclear catastrophe. Our hopes and prayers go out to the citizens of Japan and its 50 volunteers who are risking their well-being as they attempt to contain the radiation leak.
It truly is a tragic natural disaster, and our hearts go out to those family members still looking for loved ones.
And now we'll bring you to Steve with your spring break weather forecast.
Well, Ben and Sean, I'm not going to really forecast for Plymouth this week because we're looking at a lot of people going home wherever they may be coming from. So what I am going to tell you is that we are definitely looking at temperatures on the rise in the near future. This little snow event that we had this week was, something out of nature, and we're definitely looking at any precip that's happening in the next the coming weeks are going to definitely be rain, and hopefully we can get some sun out there. We can melt the snowpack, get those greens cleared off, and people can get out, go boarding, go play frisbee, do whatever it is that you do in the warm weather. So you guys have to break and relax, enjoy it, and let's get that warm weather.
Thanks, Steve. Well, that about does it for us tonight. Just want to remind you that because next week is spring break, there will not be a printed issue of the clock this week.
Also, make sure you stay tuned when you get back for our special edition of The Croc. From everybody here at The Clock, I'm Sean Michael Dunphy,
And I'm Ben DeZoglio.
and we want to remind you, there will be another night. Good night, everybody.